All right. Am I? All right. First of all, I think every church's faith is being tested in the fact that the churches cannot assemble together, and that's a place we've never been before. So it's testing the church's faith and believing that we can stay connected as a body, but not be in the same place. That's number one. Number two, the testing of faith comes in finding innovative ways to reach the needs of the people, to keep the people in connectivity with one another, and just to bless the lives of people. In our community, our faith is tested because God has called the church to be a light. We're supposed to be the answer in troubled times and situations. So we always want to represent our Father well in whatever we do. So we have to trust and believe that as we go through these storms,
There's no break. The devil's told you he's a liar. It won't ever come through. And I hear the sound.
great opportunity, this packed spiritual house, to say thank you to all of you for the continuous sacrificial giving. Each one of you must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion. For God loves cheerful giving. Bring the full tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house, and thereby put me to the test, says the Lord of hosts. If I will not open the windows of heaven for you, pour down for you a blessing until there is no more. I know that you're not going to miss this great opportunity. So I confess, Father, today we bring our tithe, offering, and our gifts to your storehouse. We believe in your word, where it says that you will open windows of heaven and pour out a blessing. We stand on it, we have faith in it, and we act on our faith today. Let us pray. Father Jehovah, we thank you today for the blessings that you bestow upon us all. We pray for our continued congregation today. Lord, may we all give with gladness and sincerity. Father, no one.
While we get ready for Five Live, she's going to just keep on telling you how great God is and how much God means to her and how she just loves you and how the questions that a book of songs. It seems rather likely then that it refers to a musical rest in which singers stop singing to take a breath so only the musician instruments can be heard. According to one Bible dictionary, it can also simplify a musical crescendo followed by silent reflection. I don't have time to go do a music class. That'd be too much. Just you can look that up. That's a whole lot of. I had to take all my time to try to tell you the difference between a musical crescendo and a musical reflection. You got to know crescendo. And reflection. We ain't got time to do the music thing. So y'all look that up for yourself. All right, I got to move on. The Septuagint, which is the English, the earliest Greek translation of the Old Testament, translate Selah into intermission. Because I remember I used to always wonder, what did that word mean? I was reading the Bible, and at the end of something, it would say Selah. Like, okay, I thought that meant amen. So I thought that was another word for amen, when the reality of it is, it's almost like an intermission. It's like another word for intermission. The New Living Translation picks up on this by using the word interlude. So, and instead of using Selah, they say interlude. The idea is to get us to take a breath in order to reflect and remember. So in other words, you just read a passage. Let me read verse 3 so I can give you an idea. Verse 3 is the first time it shows it. So it says, and let's read it without the italicized words which were added. They weren't a part of the original. So it says, its waters roar, be troubled. The mountains shake with its swelling. Selah. So in other words, now I'm supposed to take a pause and reflect. It says the water roars, and I'm going to get into this more deeper in detail. So what I'm supposed to do with the Selah in verse number 3 is to take a reflective time, to take a moment and remember what I just read, what I just sung about, what I'm singing about. I like how the Amplified Version renders it. It says, pause and calmly think about it. Oh, that's good right there. Selah. So when you see that Selah after the end of a verse, then instead I'm supposed to pause and I'm supposed to take an opportunity to calmly think about about what I just read. The water's raging. I need to pause and calmly think about it. In addition, Selah is thought to be rendered from two Hebrew words, which translated as to praise and to lift up. So at the end, I just read something that should cause me to praise and to lift up. Perhaps the singer paused so that they would think about what they just had sung in praises to God. It is imperative, it is in the imperative meaning that there is something we were commanded to do. That seems to how it seems to work in using Habakkuk 3, where we're urged to consider the weightiness of what we have just read or heard. The best way to think of Selah is a combination of all these meanings. We could say it like this: in the midst of our problems, let's take a pause, let's take a pivot, and let's do a praise. In the midst of our problems, you're going to hear that a lot. So tonight we're talking about pause, pivot, and we're talking about pause, pivot, and praise. And praising each time we come across it. So it's 3 times in this passage. So after we read verse 3 and it says Selah, I need to go back up to verses 1, 2, 3, and I need to take a pause, I need to take a pivot, and I need to take a praise. I need to think about what I just read and what it means to me. I need to do a praise. I need to do a lift up of about what I just read and what I just came across. In the midst of our problems, let pause, pivot, and praise for God. Let's pause and pivot, praise for God. Number 1, because his promise, he is for us. Number 2, his present, he is with us. Number 1, his promises, he is for us. That's verses 1 through 3. His presence, he is with us, verses 4 through 7. His power, he is above us, verses 8 through 11. So we're going to look at his promise, he is for you. So let's look at the first 3 verses. His promise, verses 1 through 3. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Oh, if you don't get anything else, that right there, you should have been taking a pause, a pivot, and a praise right there. It says that God is our refuge and strength. Not only is it a place for me to hide in, not only is it a place for me to be safe in, but he's also a place for me to get strength in, and he's a very present, meaning he's right there, right now, in my trouble. The 3 Hebrew boys, when they went into the fiery, should be young lads because they really weren't boys. When they went into the fiery furnace, they went in by themselves, but when they got into trouble, they looked in and they say, wait a minute, we threw in 3, but I see 4. And they say, looks like the son of... People are going to look at you in this time. They're going to say, wait a minute, I know that they threw them in the fiery furnace. I know they should be burning up, but it looks like somebody else is in there with them. How is they sustaining them? I know they got sent home and they're not giving any money. I know that they don't make a whole lot. I know that they shouldn't be able to pay their bills. How is it? Because in the midst of my problems, he's in there with me. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way. I don't care what happens. Pause, rewind, play. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, what is that therefore? To let me know what is there therefore? It's there to let me know that we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea. In other words, the mountain can move all the way in the middle of the sea. I'm telling you, I know what it's like to be when the waters roar and form. On our last cruise, it was some really bad weather, and I thought, you being a big old cruise ship, that you would never feel anything on a big old cruise ship because it's big, it's got a lot of metal, and I'm up high, I shouldn't feel nothing. But I'm telling you, that thing bang, bam, shook, rock and roll, and I don't know what it was like below where I was, but I know where I was at. It was really bad. So I can only imagine, because it gets worse down the bottom. How do I know that? Because I was in the bottom of a flat bottom ship, and I know what it's like for the ship, for the oceans to roar and have that experience. So though the mountains tremble, earthquake, Selah, pause, pivot, praise. The The name of God is, in this term text, is Elohim, which reminds us here. I'm telling you again, you need to write that down. Somebody need to put that on the comment section. He is our refuge, our strength, and our help. He's our refuge, our strength, and our help. He's our refuge, our strength, and our help. I said that 3 times. Y'all ain't running yet. He's our refuge, our strength, and our help. He's not pointing to refuge. He himself is our refuge. He's not saying over there is safety. He's saying right here is safety. You know, when you get ready to make an exit, like we have an exit sign in the back of the church, and it tells people that's the way you're supposed to go out. That's the direction you're supposed to go and to go out. But what God is saying, I'm not showing you how to go out. I'm telling you I'm the way out. God is our refuge, even when what seems steady is unstable. God is our refuge, even when what seems steady is now unstable. God is our refuge when what seems steady is now unstable. God is our refuge when what seems steady is not. Can you understand what I'm saying? At one point, it was something that was steady. Now, it's unstable. It was a suddenly. Let's think about this.